welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome in. My name is Alana Simone, for those who don't know. And so today we're going to talk about the importance of your voice and how it is so important for your voice to be heard. And so, I just thought about this because I had a conversation today with someone that really made me think. And it made me think about how important it is for us to, to be able to express things that concern us and speak up for things that are right. And so I really learned a lot from that because I know a lot of times, sometimes we can feel like our voice doesn't matter and we're not heard. But in reality, it really does matter. And, I think that sometimes we can think in our head like, no, it really doesn't, but it really does. And I had an instance where I was really dealing with some things and growing in different areas. And it made me start to feel like my voice didn't really matter. And so I really had to fight that feeling because once I finally, got past that and realized that my voice actually does matter, when I started speaking up and expressing the things that concerned me, it actually started to make a difference. And one big thing that I learned is a lot of times some people don't even know that things are happening or you're going through things because why? We don't express it and we feel like our voice does not matter, or we feel like when we do express things, it's not heard. But let me tell you, even the things you express and may seem unheard, they heard you. Whoever it was that you expressed it to or said something to, regardless if something changed or not, they still heard you. And, a lot of instances, just because it didn't change at that moment you wanted, doesn't mean that it's not going to change. Or just because it didn't change how you thought it was going to change, doesn't mean it's not going to change. It's just that, it just didn't happen the way we thought. But that doesn't make it seem, that doesn't, what's the word? That doesn't make it seem like, okay, well, just because nothing changed, like I shouldn't talk, I shouldn't speak anymore, my voice doesn't matter, like people just don't understand me, they don't hear me. No, that's not the case. Sometimes you have to just speak consistently without getting a response, without getting an applause, without seeing change. And in your consistency, that's usually when you start to see changes happen. That's usually when people finally start listening. Sometimes it takes time for people to catch on to what you're saying. And so often we stay stuck or we miss it because right when, we feel like nobody's listening or nobody's hearing us, we stop. And so then, of course, nobody will, because why? We stopped. And oftentimes, like I know for me, I would get to a certain point and I would just stop. I'm like, well, I'm making all these videos, I'm doing all this stuff, and people they don't seem too interested. So maybe I should just stop doing this. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe what I have to say really doesn't matter. And let me tell you, that is such a lie, because what each and every one of us has to say matters. And your voice matters, you matter. And it doesn't really matter about how people take it or how people perceive it or how people see it or what your own expectation of how you think it should be. Continue to speak, continue to proclaim, continue to be unheard until you are heard, because I'm telling you, one day you will be heard and it's going to literally shock you and shock everyone else, because it's in the consistencies where we find success. It's in the consistency is where we find the results that we're looking for. And so oftentimes we end up quitting, and then we don't get to see the end result. So this year, let us be consistent. Let us continue to speak up and speak forth the things that we, are pressed upon our hearts or concerning us, because once you speak, a change happens. Prime example, when Martin Luther King spoke, at first it was just noise. But after a while, that noise turned into change. And till this day, we are living in a spoken word, and somebody who spoke a vision out loud, and they spoke, and it didn't matter what people's opinions thought, what people thought. It didn't matter if people acted like they didn't hear him or they didn't want to hear him, or all that stuff. He spoke and he spoke and he spoke. He had speech after speech after speech, and let me tell you what happened in result, because he kept going and he kept being consistent. The whole entire world was impacted. The whole entire world ended up hearing him, and a change happened. And now we're in modern day living in a change, and he's not even here to see it, but because he kept on going. Even in his death, his voice still carried on, and he's still being heard till this day. So, that's like a really good example of someone who realized that their voice did matter and that it was valuable. So I really encourage you this year to speak up, speak your truth, and stop caring what people think. People are always going to think something. People will tell you what you said is wrong. People will tell you what you said is right. People will agree. People won't agree. But as long as you know that your truth is your truth and what you have to say is important, it shouldn't matter what anybody else thinks, whether you have an audience or not. Whether people hear you or not. Continue to speak. Continue to go forth in all things that you're doing. And don't be ashamed about it. And know that, God is with you in all things. So what may seem scary and what may seem little now can become big, far faster than you could think. So keep on going, keep on speaking. Know that your voice matters. You matter. And, in order to see change, we have to be able to do different things and be consistent in what we speak and how we live life. So, this year, if we want to see change, we gotta not only be it, but speak it, and then put some action behind it too. So, this conversation really made me think, but it made me think, it gave me a better perspective to know that not only is my voice important and my voice matters, but yours does too. So keep going forth, keep rising up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.